Telecommunication Union, and I have the privilege of introducing today's Innovation Factory session. For those who are not very familiar with the ITU, and ITU is the United Nations Specialized Agency for ICTs, and we are also the organizer of the AI for Good Global Summit alongside the XPRIZE Foundation, and a partnership with the 38 UN sister agencies and co-convened with Switzerland. The Innovation Factory is a program launched last year under the flagship initiative AI for Good Global Summit. It is an online pitching platform to help startups grow and scale up their innovative AI-powered solutions for SDGs by introducing their solutions to the world and also creating business opportunities to help them connect to investors, governments, and big IT companies, and more and more. Last year, we received more than 200 applications from 46 countries. So far this year, we've got more than 110 applications from more than 30 countries within the 4 sessions until today. Okay, so now let me kickstart today's session. I'm very glad to introduce 5 finalists today. We have really promising startups from various fields, like food waste management and the big data for agriculture and a chatbot for social impact and smart energy management and fintech for persons with disabilities and so on. And I'm also very pleased to introduce our distinguished judges for today's session. All our jury members are also big influencers and experts in the startup scene, and they are really, really passionate about accelerating the growth of startups, particularly in the field of social impact. So firstly, let me introduce Ms. Melissa Tickle, who is the investment management at Finca Ventures with 7 years of experience in impact investing and SME finance and ESG management. Okay, so Melissa, can you tell us a little bit more about your current work at Finca Ventures and also a latest overview on the impact and funding scene, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So Melissa Tickle here. I'm an investment manager at Finca Ventures, which is an early stage impact investor that invests across agriculture, health, and financial inclusion sectors, specifically in sub-Saharan Africa. We're part of a much larger organization called Finca International that's been involved in the microfinance space for about 40 years and have taken those learnings to start investing in businesses that are providing access to goods and services for low to mass market populations across Africa.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Melissa actually also joined the previous session, so thank you for joining us today again. And then we are also very excited to be with you as well. Okay, next, Mr. Enrique Alvarado Avaluchel, if I pronounce correctly, who is the former partner at the Bamboo Capital Partners, which is impact investing platform. So it's first time for you, Enrique, to join the Innovation Factory session this year. So could you introduce a little bit about yourself and what you're expecting today and what kind of new adventure you are making for now? Enrique? Hello? Yeah, perhaps we lost this connection for now. Okay, so while she's reconnecting, okay, let's move to Melissa Sassi. Miss Melissa Sassi is a chief penguin of IBM Hyperprotect Accelerators. She's a renowned expert in the empowering and the early stage startups through technology and business accelerations. So Melissa, tell us about the current IBM initiatives on entrepreneurship and startups and also your current activities, please.
Sure. So as Josh mentioned, I am IBM-Z's chief penguin. Yes, I created my own job title and created my own job several times over. I was part of really coming into IBM and creating a new startup accelerator within the IBM-Z division of IBM. I run a program that's called the IBM Hyperprotect Accelerator, where we enable early stage startups, mainly in the fintech, health tech, and insurtech spaces with cloud credits, but we top that up because we know that's not enough. With 2 years of technical mentorship, 1 year of business mentorship, and the whole idea is for us to go to market together. By the end of this year, I will have 100 startups within my portfolio, which is really exciting for me and also very, very scary. For anyone who would like to learn more, they can join us at IBM Z Day on September 15th, where we will be joined by none other than Timbaland. For those of you who are into the music industry and other startups that are doing amazing things, specifically when it comes to data protection, privacy, and security. I could talk all day long, and Josh knows it because I'm a talker. So I'm going to halt myself there, and I look forward to seeing all of the amazing startups that are going to be presenting today, learning from each of you and all of the innovative solutions and problems that you're solving. So thank you for having me, Josh. And thank you to the ITU for putting on such a great series of events to alert all of us who are working in the startup ecosystem about all of the innovation. It's hard to find out about everybody out there. So keep up the great work, and good luck to all of our participants today.
Thank you very much. And also, so we are very also looking forward to working with the IBM, especially in this new, area of, the startup acceleration and so the innovation field. Okay, so Enrique, can you connect them now? Enrique? All right.
Yes,
okay,
I'm here.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, it's your first time to join this session. So please introduce yourself a little bit about and what you're currently making and your new adventures and what you're expecting today. Yeah.
Yeah, with pleasure. So I've been in the impact social environmental impact field for, I would say, like more than 15 years, building startups and then investing on them, and now, well, recently investing also in funds. I'm a stakeholder of Bamboo Capital Partners, and now, well, I'm trying to get more in touch with technology, especially technologies that can make a difference in emerging markets and that can develop a new generation of solutions for our issues. So that's kind of my very quick introduction. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are very also happy to have you today, finally. Okay, so today we have 3 great judges, and then they're going to make a score for each startup every time each startup finishes its pitch. And then after all the pitches are done, and they're going to have a very short discussion to make the final decision, and then one of our judges will announce the winner of today's session. Okay, so thank you very much to all our juries, and then I'm very, very excited to move on to the pitching competition now. Okay, but before we move on, I'd like to inform all the audience that there is a chat functionality, so everybody can leave some comments and questions. So please make sure to set the message recipient to all panelists and attendees, not just to all panelists, so that everybody can see your comments and questions. So you can select this just above the message box there. All right. So now it's the first stage. Okay, so first stage is for Talov Studio. Talov Studio develops AI communication tools to enable persons with disabilities to communicate without barriers. So today, Talov Studio's founder and CEO, Mr. Hugo J. Combe, will do his pitch. So Hugo, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So I'm gonna share screen right now. And please, can you just confirm?
I can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. So, okay. Well, hello everyone. My name is Hugo Jacome. I am founder and president of Talov. And did you know that in the last hour, 1,004 deaf and 620 blind people were born in all the world? And it's highly probable they will face or they will experience challenging daily lives. So are you ready for inclusion? Just considering hearing and visual impairment, there are 760 million people in all the world, and according to ITU, probably 30% of them have a smartphone. And according to UN Sustainable Development Goals, these represent huge social challenges. Less than 5% access to school, some hearing and vision aids are truly expensive, and the combined unemployment annual global cost about these two disabilities is approximately $1,400 billion. But how to tackle these challenges? Our work is one step in the right direction. We use artificial intelligence in combination with mobile phones to improve the independence levels of people with disabilities. So currently we have two mobile apps that works without internet and in real time, and are compatible with up to 48 languages. First one is Speakless. It's a digital assistant for people with hearing impairment. It can detect sign languages just through the phone camera. It can identify hundreds of sounds about the sound surrounding of the deaf person. It has features like voice to text and text to voice transcription, so they can feel like more included in some situations like conversations. The other one is Vision, a digital assistant for people with visual impairment. It can detect objects and their relative position. It can read text, so users don't have to longer depend only on Braille system. That's really important. It can detect many world currencies, money bills. Detecting a money bill, it's very challenging. It can measure distance. It has an accessible maps navigation tool, can detect colors, among other options. These are our competitors. We have here some quite big names like Google and Microsoft. In general, they have a good performance, but all of them have a problem. They depend on online servers, and that results in latency. So our key differentiator is a multi-feature apps, and that makes the artificial intelligence inference it's done inside the device. So that ensures a little bit more something closer to the real-time performance. This is our core team, our today's core team. So Carlos and me co-founded this, and previously to that, we started independent research about how to solve social challenges through technology since many years ago. And I remember in the 2008, I started researching about how to detect acoustic patterns about the surrounding world. So that is one of the current foundations of today's platform. Diana and Eric, they are people with disabilities. They contribute with their academic background, but also with their high experience in product research and development for their own communities. And Gustavo is our general counsel. And this teamwork have produced results. Since the beginning of TALOP, we started with a very heavy research process, because to develop some of these tools is important to research a lot and of course discard many ideas. And since then, our work had a constant evolution, and our work is now recognized in Ecuador, Portugal, United States, Mexico, Switzerland, and Qatar. But our most important achievements is to positively impact people's life. This is our current traction. We have 24,000 free users, and 1.7K of them are paying users, and we are in 86 countries. More in territories like Europe, Asia Pacific, and North America. Often these territories have a better situation regarding situations of respect and inclusion for people with disabilities, and also they have higher technological access conditions. So therefore, we want to make it to the next step with a B2B structure with interested organizations in those territories right now. We have it's a freemium plus subscription business model. Okay, this is our current B2C structure with those three plans. So we are available in 175 countries through App Store and Play Store. So let's make together from this world a better place. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Hugo. Please stop your screen sharing here. Okay, so now it's the Q&A time. So all our judges, it's time for you guys to ask questions to Hugo. Yeah, Melissa, you can start.
Yeah, I can go ahead and go. So I have a couple of questions. So I see you have 24,000 users, and you won a lot of awards. What do you think is stopping you from gaining access to more customers, more paying customers, and more revenue?
Well, actually, pandemic had an important role in this, like stepping. Prior to the pandemic, we were growing, but some people had written us saying things like, "Hello guys, I lost my job, my credit card was canceled." So we started to realize that the B2C field, it's quite challenging, especially in these kind of situations, because even on developed countries and more on developing countries, people with disabilities have a lack of access to education, to better job situations, so that results in lower income possibilities for them. So that's why we are right now building another like variations of our platform, so we can share this with organizations that want to make more accessible the facilities or the structures, their websites, etc.
Okay, got it. And then can you talk to me a little bit more about your, how you've incorporated AI into your solution, just a little bit more detail?
Oh, yes. Actually, IBM had a very, very important role in that.
Oh, good. I like to hear that. And that's really good. Well, let me know how I can help you more. We can talk about that separately.
Okay, yes. So, yes, we built many of our platform with some services like IBM Watson, and now we spent a lot of time trying to make our AI inference processes without online remote servers, because privacy is a very heavy concern for us and of course for our users, and of course the resources management of the device is very important. So we built a lot of neural networks. Well, in some technical words, we use a lot of TF, so TensorFlow, to make a lot of optimization and to like to build some networks that can have the enough and efficient number of layers, so they are not too heavy or to burn out the phone, or they are too light to have like inaccurate results. So that's why we use artificial intelligence in terms of computer vision for blind people, also for deaf people, because of the phone detects the sign language gestures. We use computer audition. I don't know if that concept exists yet, but to understand the sound surroundings, and of course the voice to text and text to voice transcription is done also with artificial intelligence and some frameworks that already exist and others that we have had to adapt and things like that.
Okay, I have one last question. I want to make sure to make time for the other esteemed judges. When you talk about data protection, privacy, and security, and thinking about how that's paramount for your users, can you tell me what kind of data you're collecting and how you're protecting that?
Oh, the only data that we have for our users, could be like that random ID that the store create when you download our app, because we don't have a signing in option or some data profile of user profile. So we actually didn't collect any data. But one thing that was concerning for us is about I don't know, if somebody is making a computer vision about his family, that data traveling to remote servers, that was something that we didn't want. So we decided to make all the inference inside the device.
Okay, understood. That covers my questions. We can move on to the next set of questions for the next judge. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hugo. One question on my end. Can you explain the different offering or what services are available with the paid version versus the premium model?
Oh, of course. Okay, let's jump in the first step. Speaklist is the app for deaf people. When you download free the app, you have the voice to text unlimited service. But if you want to use the other services like the sign language detection, the the sound surroundings identification, then you have to subscribe to one of the plans. And on the Vision app is free the reading option. So you have unlimited reading compatible with a lot of languages. And if you wanna use the object detection or the maps navigation, then you have to subscribe to the plans.
Got it. Got it. Okay. That makes sense. And then from the kind of robust user base that you have, do you have detail on how many users are interacting with the platform on a regular basis, or with what frequency?
Yes, we use the data that it's, for example, available on the dashboard on the stores about Play Store and App Store. But we don't use a lot of data like, I don't know, like Firebase, and to know which button people are touching. That kind of things we prefer to don't collect. So yes, from the from the 24,000 users that we currently have free users, mostly the paying users are like interacting more with the app, because they have wrote us things like, yes, I'm interacting more and I paid for this option, so you have to improve in this, or please add, I don't know, add Indie language to this option because we need that. So mostly it's like less than 10% from the universe of 24,000 users that have a more active usage of the platform.
Got it. Okay. And then last question from my side is around revenue and what margin you're making on the product.
Like the gross margin of the product. Well, it's important to say that we right now spend a lot of in terms of research. So our margin per additional copy of the software, it's around 32%. The other is the 68% is a lot of administrative expenses. I don't know if that's a correct word, and a lot of research, because we are now trying to, for example, we are covering right now French, German, Japanese, and American Sign Language, the basic signs in the sign language recognition, but we want to add all the language of the world if possible. So we spend a lot in researching about that.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Enrique, well,
I have a quick question here. Yeah, Hugo, well, thank you very much for the presentation, and just I'm curious about the way you see the usability growing. So especially in the sense of the new markets that you can support with the platform right now, and how this will grow in the future. Like maybe more from the perspective of how you are planning to fundraise in the future for getting there, and yeah, I mean, just if you can give me more information about that and clarifying it.
Yes, Enrique, thanks for the question. This technology started like designed for accessibility, but we understand that it's not useful only for accessibility, because the gesture detection and the sound identification, all the artificial intelligence that it's done for noise canceling, for the very detailed computer vision, and all of that can be useful for another kind of industries. So that's what we wanted first to demonstrate, like this technology could be useful in a very challenging field like the accessibility. So we now feel that we can build some variations for other kind of industries, and possibly that will help us to like being a little bit more interesting for investing, because we have to be very honest about this. The most of investments, or the most of investors, traditionally they look for example, a fast exit in a massive industry, but we are now in a niche industry. It's a very concentrated spot. In spite of there is a big quantity of people in this minority of people with disabilities, but it still is a very concentrated spot about how to apply technology. So we are now trying to look for another industries, so we can have like a wider range of applications of our technology, but our first goal was to demonstrate that this could be possible in possibly the most challenging scenario.
Okay.
Right, thank you very much, Hugo. It is a great presentation, also really interesting in a Q&A with the judges. This is a very, very good start. Thank you very much again. All right, so, and also it is very, very punctual. So you use exactly 5 minutes and 10 minutes in the Q&A. All right, so now let's move to the second stage. So for FLD, so the founder of FLD, Bernard Wright, is going to present, his startup business models and technologies. So FLD uses AI to empower the farmers with agricultural data to fix a broken supply chain, particularly in developing world. So Bernard, stage is yours.
Thanks very much. Yeah, good to meet everybody. I did meet Melissa Tickle before. We rebranded a while back there, so we were under another name. But yeah, I want to talk about remotely quantifying agriculture in sub-Saharan Africa. So where are we going? Agriculture is very important in sub-Saharan Africa for a lot of reasons. Internationally, they're important because they grow lots of these strategic crops, like half of the world's cashew, 70% of the world's cocoa, 10% of the world's cotton. It's also incredibly important from a food security perspective because there is a little over 1 billion people in sub-Saharan Africa now, and that's going to double to up to about 2.5 billion by 2030. It's important also from a commercial perspective because all these big actors are there and global supply chains depend on it. There is a problem with this, though, is that the market is broken. We don't really know. We know what the demand is like, and that is predictable. We don't know what the supply is going to be like because the reason for that is smallholders grow 80% of the crops on the continent, and they are hard to monitor. They're small, they're disconnected, and they alternate their crops very frequently throughout the year, throughout the growing season. And what this results in is that the data is not available for high-level decisions to be made when it comes to investment and when it comes to figuring out what the price of a staple crop is going to be, and when it comes to the attractiveness of an investment in this sector. So our solution, what we are doing is we are quantifying the acreage of a strategic crop in an area for a specific season and providing that to actors like Big Ag, government, UN. Essentially, we're telling them there's going to be 5,000 metric tons of cotton here, there's going to be 20,000 metric tons of barley there. That's the product, that's what we're selling, and that's what we're providing to these actors. How do we do it? We use satellites, we use machine learning, and we use ground data. We use these things to develop the fingerprint for these crops and then quantify, search much larger areas for that, and then sell that data. This is not too disruptive a model. What is disruptive is that we are crowdsourcing these huge quantities of data and massive quantities of ground data to build much better models. That is our secret sauce. We have a free smallholder monitoring service for large organizations who are working with large numbers of smallholder farmers. We can provide crop and weather statistics per field, per month, anywhere in sub-Saharan Africa, entirely without cost, entirely without limit. And we're also operating in Asia as well. We're monitoring 6 million fields now every month, and providing that data to people who support these farmers. That's for free. It's for free because we use that data also to build our crop forecasting models. We do have competition. The competition from NASA have this service. There's some well-funded startups in East Africa like Grow Intelligence, Stanford backed AI, Cargill backed Indigo Ag. All these guys, they're doing great stuff. What they do not have is that huge quantity of data coming from the ground that we have. That's what differentiates us. That's what makes our models better, and that's what's going to create a moat around the service that we offer. We're operating in 19 countries where agriculture is informal. We have about 150K revenue from Big Ag and financial institutions, and we have about 140K in the past as well from from different versions of this. Our crop identification models are an A. We can identify 80 to 85% at the moment for strategic crops like coffee or strategic crops like cashew. And we've got partnerships with large organizations like Islamic Trade and Finance Corporation. We're running trials with government, UN, different actors. For myself and my co-founder, we both have about 16 years experience in emerging markets. I can identify the need, I know the data, I know the actors. Ingrid knows how to build. She's been building for years there. We've got a high quality team behind us. These are the engine. These are the guys that are doing the real hard, heavy lifting. They've got a PhD. We've got ex-Andela folks. We're backed by European Space Agency. Google are giving us a lot of support. The Irish government are giving us a lot of support. Been classified as a high potential startup. We're asking for 500K to cover us for 2 years. And the reason we are also an exit opportunity, because the value of the market is going to be $1 trillion by 2030. And we are going to have the largest database for agricultural monitoring on the continent. And that's going to be attractive for lots of different actors in such as big ag and space. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Bernard. This is an excellent presentation again. Okay, so let's move to Q&A. So who is going to ask first? Just turn on your video and then you can start. Okay, Enrique.
Hey, may I start? Sorry.
Sure.
So thank you very much for your pitch. It's Bernard, really exciting to hear someone who's so passionate on this, and I've seen by my own eyes the problematic on the agriculture in emerging markets, especially in Africa. I'm having a question regarding the future of the market in terms of digitalization. So I mean, you right now are saying that I mean, you have a biggest database and you want to grow it and etc. But how much of this database is related to the problems that we will have in the next 5 to 10 years? And how do we actually ensure that the problems that we're facing right now are the similar problems we will have in those years? I mean, yeah, I mean, it's the first thing that is coming to my mind right now. And I mean, there is some questions that I have from the financials, but I think, and this is because I see this problem before, is that we don't see the real issues that we will have in crops in 5, 10 years. So how do you see that?
I will politely disagree with you there. I think we will definitely have more of these same problems. The population is rapidly growing in sub-Saharan Africa. Fields are getting smaller, demand is getting higher. Climate change is really disrupting how crops.
But don't take me wrong, it's exactly because of the climate change that I'm saying this. It's basically because of that I'm saying that we don't know yet what is going to happen in 5 to 10 years.
Okay. Yeah, so we don't know really what's going to happen. That's true, and that's why we need a service that is able to quantify that remotely and at scale, and with a model that that fits into the system of sub-Saharan Africa and these informal markets. And we are providing two different things. We provide free smallholder monitoring at massive scale, and we provide crop forecasts to make it easier to invest in these areas. We've got the macro and the micro level impact. I think these issues are just going to keep on getting more significant, and big tech and innovative models are the only real ways to address it.
Okay, then I got it. So you are focusing in those two. Okay.
Yeah, those two things: free smallholder monitoring and crop forecasts for macro level actors.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so next. Yeah. Oh, so Melissa from IBM was a little bit earlier than.
Go for it.
Yeah,
go ahead. I just have one question for you, and it's more about what inspired you to create this startup. So what connects you to this problem, either personally or emotionally?
Yeah, I started working in Uganda in about 2005. So I went there, worked with NGOs, worked with UN, worked with government, and then worked in a startup. And for all that time, we've seen tech was offered as the solution. This is the panacea. It's going to fix things. And I've just seen so many attempts and idealism around it, just real excitement. And then it crashes and burns and it fails. I spent a long time trying to sell different types of products and all that, and it was really hard to do that. And it was just the frustration of seeing all this happen and such minimal impact. And you have the tech. I mean, the tech, that the amazing algorithms, the machine learning, the computer processing, the satellites, the PhDs, they're all there, but it's just the lack of a model, I think, is just, that's the critical thing. It's going to live or die on that basis. So it was born out of frustration and an idea that the model can be twisted, shaped so that it can be deployed efficiently and get massive impact.
So I said one question, but I just thought of one more. So I promise you get to go next, Melissa, my other Melissa. So the other question I have is, if you could do a little bit of a deep dive into kind of some of the algorithms that you've incorporated into either your AI or machine learning models. Talk to me a little bit about that.
We were using a lot of GDAL and SNAP and CatBoost classifiers to it's all about really about building a spectral fingerprint for what that crop looks like on a satellite image, and then scanning a much larger area for that. So now we're using TensorFlow to do a lot of that processing. To be honest, this part is not my strongest suit. That's the team that would be doing that. But we are up there around 85 to 90% reliability, which other actors that are looking at it as well, like University of Minnesota and the World Bank, are at that same level.
Okay.
But we can deploy it much larger geographies, much larger scale.
Understood. Thank you very much. Melissa, over to you.
Thanks, and good to see you, Bernard, again. Just a quick question. So for the organizations that you're providing smallholder monitoring for free, in your experience, have you seen any of these organizations switch from some of the paid for models that they currently use to using Fieldy exclusively, or is it really just a kind of an add-on for them and access to data from your side?
It's a bit of both. We have seen, I mean, there are providers out there, one or two of them I guess you will probably know. One actor we are speaking to a large American NGO who do a lot of research based. I think they were working with one of these actors, and it was hard to justify the paid for service in the longer term. So they did drop it. So we're speaking about them signing up with us. Mm-hmm. So it is the question. The stage where we are now is we're generating all this data. We're generating like vegetation health, soil moisture, ground temperature, rainfall, evapotranspiration. We're looking at carbon sequestration and that type of thing as well. The next step for us is how do we figure out what they can do with it? How do we integrate it into their decision making? And that's the key, I think. So we're seeing plenty of that. And the reason that we do see people are coming to us is because they can't justify payment for it as yet if they haven't been able to figure out what to do with it yet. Mm-hmm. So this does allow them to deploy it at massive scale with essentially very limited cost. I mean, there's no cost on our side, but they would have data collection costs on their side. And we do see it once they do sign up to our service, we'll get learning experience out of it. They'll be entangled in our system and our model and our offer, and we'll keep on getting better. So that's we see scale there.
Got it. Thank you.
Right. So I think everybody was happy with the Q&A. Also, again, it's a great presentation. Thank you very much, Bernard. Right. All right. So let's quickly move to the third page. Orbisk is a Dutch startup. Orbisk uses AI image recognition technology to quantify food waste in professional kitchens in a fully automated and seamless way. And the founder, Olaf van der Veen, is going to present. All right, so Olaf, are you ready?
I am. Do you hear me?
So,
perfect.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so please share the screen and then start your presentation. So you have 5 minutes, same. Yeah.
I will, and I hope you get to see my screen right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, is it coming?
Is it there?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself, which is that I like to sleep in. I like to sleep in and together with my girlfriend if we go on a holiday in particular. And the picture that I'm about to show you was one day when we woke up in a hotel. We were the last guests to enter the breakfast buffet and therefore also the last guests to leave. And this is the picture that I took. I hope it's all colorful for you now, but that means the presentation works. This is what the hotel buffet looked like that morning. It was filled with all of this pristine food. It looks like the first guest had yet to enter. And I knew, because I was the last guest leaving, that all of this food, and I'll tell you right now, it goes into the waste bin. And that's a pretty big economic and ecological disaster, but it is an opportunity too. Because I realized that this is the type of food they throw away daily. Imagine the amount of money this had cost them and how big the opportunity is if they would be able to save this. And I also realized that this is your average hotel in your average city. So this happens in every hotel in every city on every day. And this is what we changed. And that's the opportunity that we grasped at Orbisk. So let me move this over. Food waste and hospitality. At least 5% of everything that we produce in the world is lost in hospitality kitchens. We're talking about 11 billion kilos in Europe, about 100 billion kilos, so tenfold in the world. And in only my small country, the Netherlands, we're talking about 150 million kilos every single year. Meaning that would be 500,000 kilos every single day. This we can change. At the same time, a kilo of food waste takes about 4.5 kilos of CO2 to produce, uses 7,000 liters of water, and costs the participant an average of 5.5 euros per kilo. So let's look at how we can save this and why this still persists. So this is our chef, and our chef I'll call Stan for today because that's one of our big ambassadors. Stan starts his day buying and planning for the guests he will be serving. He has these foods delivered to his door and starts preparing it for his guests and then serves it to his guests. And unfortunately, as we've just seen, everything that's the surplus will be disposed of. And that's exactly why we're providing value. We outfit the waste bin with our technology and allow him to start his day better informed, and Stan, with all his passion for food, can start optimizing all of the other steps along the way, increasing sustainability and profitability. So what does that look like? Indeed, we outfit the waste bin with our camera technology and use image recognition technology to do so. I hope this is visible for you too. Within half a second, we scan the type of food that's being thrown away, and our artificial intelligence image recognition technology allows us to see the type, quantity, and on a very detailed level, the sort of food and recurring waste that's occurring. We visualize this data in our dashboarding solution. Oh wait, this doesn't work the way I wanted to, of course. We visualize it in our dashboarding solution where you can see your recurring surplus and allowing you to act and significantly reduce that waste whilst not impacting your guest experience. So in 2024, we are looking to scale to 6,000 locations, on average saving some 30 million kilos of waste from happening per year. 130 million kilos of CO2 emissions prevented, and 210 billion liters of water use that we can now prevent by not wasting this food. And again, I'd like to reiterate the sum of money that it costs, and that this is an annual saving that we can produce for our clients. We work with a number of very big and important clients in the food space. Unilever Food Solutions is the B2B solution by Unilever that serves over 2 million kitchens worldwide. But we also work with what is hopefully also a solution, and many of you know, which would be Too Good To Go, that also joins us. We can join in the fight against food waste, and we do so for some of the biggest food providers in the world, such as Accor Hotel and Sodexo and others, allowing them to save significant kilos. On average, some 4,000 kilos per restaurant, and aiming for that 30 million in 2024 and 100 million kilos of food waste saved in 2026. And with that, I didn't really time myself, but I hope, Josh, you're happy enough about this 5 minutes. Thank you so much.
Awesome. It's exactly 5 minutes. Thank you very much, Olaf.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. It's also great presentation, starting with your stories and everything. Okay. So Melissa, you turn on the video first, you can start now.
Yeah, sure. Can you dive into a little bit more information about how you're using artificial intelligence in your solution, just again, in that more detail?
Yeah, I can show you right here. So first, this is a fake apple, if you're wondering, but the machine is here behind me. We outfit the waste bin with the weighing scale and a camera unit. And for the user, we only use this half a second, and within that half a second, they are able to get back to work. And our image recognition technology recognizes the type and the processing state of the type of food. So anything from lasagnas to cut zucchinis to bread rolls, we can recognize, because we've trained a neural network, like we use deep learning technology to recognize and separate the different food types on over 100 ingredient classes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and so then what function is it playing exactly? Like, and maybe I missed it, but how are you reducing food waste again?
So by quantifying the amount of waste today, which we can no longer save, let's be clear, anything going into the waste bin today, unfortunately, is unsavable. But by obviating this data to our end user, which would be the chef or the location manager, we allow them to see where their recurring surplus is, so they can optimize planning, they can optimize portions, they can optimize, in the end, their buying, and with that, reduce the amount of food they buy, whilst still serving their guests with more than enough and then they need. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. First question on my side, can you go into what the cost of the solution is? And then I'm curious if there is both hardware and then a software component as well.
Yeah, so the cost of the solution is currently, the market price is a little under 7,000 euros annually. And on average, a restaurant saves somewhere between 15 and 50,000 euros on an annual basis. So that's where the business case is for our clients. And indeed, well, there is, of course, there's discount schemes for more venues and longer contracts and so forth. There is indeed a hard and a software component. In the end, we are a service. We are also a subscription based. So basically, you buy a subscription with Orbisk, and then you get the device for free, or at least lending construction. So we always make sure that you have an accurately working device in your kitchen. But also, if you were to stop your contract, we can repurpose it and allocate it anew for sustainability purposes. But most importantly, we're mostly a software and data company, gathering all this data, and also in a next phase, connecting your waste data to your buying, your sales, your guest numbers, and circumstantial data such as weather, so that we can go into forecasting how much food you would be needing to serve your guests of tomorrow, and not only looking back. So we are mostly a software company, but we're forced and also proud to have developed this device in order to gather this data, because there is really no other way feasibly do so.
Mm-hmm. And are most customers, their establishments, is there only one device present, or is it dependent on size of the restaurant? Or
it is dependent on size, but 90% of locations for 90% of locations, there's one device that they need. The most important reason is not because all of the food waste concentrates in one place, but generally there's only one waste bin that gathers all of the preventable waste. So say the waste bin that's close to your buffet setup, and that's where the surplus is. Your peelings and all of even your plate waste is generally insignificant. The most important stuff is this recurring surplus, and if you measure that, then the rest is not so valuable. Sometimes when there's a truly big location with multiple waste streams, event venues and such, there's more than one, but 90% of the times one's enough.
Got it. And then last question on my end. From your experience, kind of how much data is needed per establishment, you think, to really be able to start optimizing the supply chain or providing real insight into purchasing decisions?
Generally, we take the first 3 months to really get a good grip on the situation with our clients. We have an onboarding trajectory of 3 months where one of our customer success managers guides you how to use the data and how to start optimizing. But generally, that's when you have your trends, you have your stuff into place, and then within the next 6 to 9 months, so altogether within a year, we generally achieve a 50% saving compared to the level where we started. So the first 3 months, it's not to say that nothing happens, because generally the first biggest things obviate themselves in the first 3 months, but also the fact that there's now something beeping around your waste bin right here does give a more of an awareness for the staff. But 3 months is generally what we give and ourselves and the clients to get a grip on this.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Just, yeah, I understand that the solution right now, and thank you for the explanation. I think the two questions were, well, the few questions of Melissa and were great about the functionality, because for me it was not clear. Just a question on the integration. So in case of I would say a hotel or a big restaurant chain or something like this, do you have integration to their ERP systems, or how does this work? Because you basically work on a solution after they analyze what's the waste they have. So this needs to come after, as you said, 3-6 months, right? Like that they analyze it and then they come with a solution, but this will be for the next 6 months after. So what is the integration of the solution that you're providing in this sense? Is it more consultancy service based, or how, and if you are integrating this with the enterprise planning systems, how does this work?
Yeah, so what we currently have, our basic service is indeed the dashboarding solution that we've built in-house, but we have a generic API going out so that all of our clients, upon granted access, can extract the data from our systems. But we are building APIs to the most perseverant, present ERP systems in the market, and also tailored ones for our bigger clients, such as Accor or one of the big caterers here in the Netherlands, Formaat. We're building them a custom API for them to receive our data, but also the other way around. Indeed, like I just mentioned, enriching this data with sales, buying, guest numbers, and weather data. We also have a reverse API where they send us their data, and upon that make the predictions that I refer to. So we have generic APIs, and for the restaurants that don't have their data ordered well, which happens more often than I'd like to admit, there's the basic solution, and for all more advanced systems we have data integration. Does that answer your question?
Yes, so you can help them find that solution, right? Like, because yeah, exactly, that's the point. Not everyone is very clear on their planning.
Yeah.
And yeah, my question also was about that. Like, you help them also planning then for the future.
Yeah, so that's that depends indeed on how far their system will allow us to integrate. We have an automated data consultancy solution in there. In the standard solution, we outline the biggest opportunities that you have in your database and also link them to articles where we tell you the biggest chunks of production, the biggest optimization methods. But for the bigger ones, like where we can actually build a firm integration with their systems, our end game is that we will be able to generate not only planning advice, but load that into their wholesaler portal so that we can completely alleviate the chef of all the strenuous and recurring buying and prospecting tasks so that they can focus on their guests in the end. So that is indeed what we facilitate. What we will be facilitating, what we're building right now on top of the waste management system.
Okay. What are the future plans of the technology? Just last question, sorry.
Adjacent markets. There's food waste. The challenging part about the image recognition and also the distinguishing factor that we have in our product that we're able to recognize food in all shapes and sizes, not only with barcodes or perfectly fine apples, but all types of apples all the time. And there's adjacent markets such as processing, but also we're considering aviation, where there's also meals in different stages of production that result in waste or other operational challenges, where we can now automatically quantify on a very granular level the type and the quality of meals they're servicing. So that's what we'll be looking for in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Olaf, for the presentation. Also, thanks a lot for all the answers to the questions challenged by the judges. This is great. All right, so now let's quickly move to the next page. Will be done by Ninja Moba. So Ninja Moba uses a natural language processing to provide automated conversation. They, according to their website, that they build conversational assistants that improve the environment, and education, and health. So Brian Ogden, who is the founder of Ninja Moba, who is going to present their pitch. So Brian, it's your time.
Thanks. It's good to see you guys. Can you see my screen okay? Hi, what's your name?
I am called Sia, Social Intelligent Assistant.
What can you do, Sia?
I can chat with people online. I can answer a lot of questions. I can talk about whatever you want.
What's climate change?
Climate change is the transformation of the Earth's ecology due to industrialization.
How can we help the environment?
Overfishing is killing our oceans, and cow farts produce greenhouse gases. So switching to a plant-based diet is a good start.
Thank you, Sia. So we're making an intelligent assistant, and you can see that millennials prefer chat over voice, but I didn't see any millennials in the judging panel. So I did a voice demo. How we ingest information is really important. And it's generationally different now. During COVID, the large monopolies in information have, in my humble opinion, completely stolen how we ingest, how we sort through our information, and and what we do with that information. If you talk to Siri or Alexa or Google at any time, you're going to end up at the App Store. So our solution is conversational AI. And that AI is for environment, education, and health, where we have a large technical debt that we're facing immense in environment, educational, and health. These big boys have spent billions on conversational AI. And in those sectors, there just isn't that kind of spend. So we make a bespoke AI bot. You might, wonder, can lightning strike twice? And we've been lucky enough to get hit twice, and it really hasn't been luck. We have some great ideas. We're the winners of the largest hackathon in the world in our in remote education, and we also won another EU-sponsored hackathon that was sponsored by Roche for remote healthcare. So what can we do that other chatbots can't do? There's lots and lots of chatbots. And the thing that we do is that we don't build on legacy NLP. We have up-to-date NLP. All these other guys have been developing this for years, and they lay it on this foundation. We have brand new spanking new NLP. We also integrate, although there's skills in Alexa and Watson can wire into information, we deploy locally in institutions and also in enterprise. So we don't have to incur those IT costs, and we can also benefit from the security that's on site. We've been developing this solution for several years, since 2018. Thrillingly, we were incubated by the IBM Global Entrepreneurs Program. We've been incubated by the University of Malta and Startup Lighthouse, which is a EU NGO for startups. Here in 2021, we have an architecture to ingest external data through IoT. And we're deployed at the Malta College of Arts, Science, and Technology. And we got their best folks there working with us. We're also being accelerated currently in the Mediterranean Climate Kick Accelerator. A first glance at our deployment for SMEs. SMEs account for about 63% of climate impact. Innovative ecological SMEs have been indicated as a great target to help foster and support. And if you interview SMEs, they've got 1 to 10 grand to spend on a IT solution. So if we go after a modest market of 40,000 of these innovative eco SMEs at a very small market share, you can see profit. But our most compelling opportunities are, we got to say, in healthcare and in institutional deployment. We're currently asking for 1 to 500K. We want to know the appetite of investors at this point. We want to know how excited you are about getting us there. We have 3 medical clinics in Barcelona that have requested pilot studies, and we've got a Spanish medtech company on board in order to partner with us to do these pilot studies. Medical pilot studies, as you know, are expensive and take time. So our initial investors were asking to sign letters of intention to help to co-fund with EU funding in order to get these done. We have, some great staff. I have a triple master's in applied technology, psychology, sustainability. Estefania is the director of research at the University of Valencia. Yaroslava is the director of an IT firm in the Ukraine, and Bojana is in Macedonia. She's helping with our policy concerns. And Joseph is an engineer here in Malta who's been involved with digital transformation for years. And that's us, Ninja MOPA.
Great, thank you very much, Brian. I'm just curious if your AI chatbot can answer the questions from judges. But anyway, so let's move on to the Q&A. Okay, so who is going to ask first question among our judges? If you wish to turn on your video and just start your question, please.
I want to answer you, Josh, on that. We're not GPT-3. We're making bespoke bots for a specific mission.
Yeah, great. Anyone who would like to start the questions?
I can start.
Hey, Melissa.
Hello,
Hi.
with a question. I'm curious from your experience onboarding customers, kind of how, the length of that process and how long on average it's taken.
I really like this question because during the last couple of years, really in the last year and a half or so, a new vertical field of questions and answers has emerged in artificial intelligence. And especially, I mentioned GPT-3. Ingesting arbitrary data is on our hit list. So that capability is coming online for us, we hope, this fall. But currently, we can immediately program these bots with a series of questions and answers, an FAQ. So the more dense you make your FAQ with us, the quicker you have a functioning bot for your mission.
Got it.
Did that help?
Yeah, and then I guess just to get a little bit more detail on I guess the purpose of the organization in creating this Q&A. What are they hoping to get? Or I guess, yeah, it's probably different depending on the partner, but what's kind of the end goal for the user?
Sure. So in the social impact space, there are different goals than for a bank, for instance, or consumer retail. In consumer retail, chatbots are often used in a button pushing kind of way to gather information, and sort of they're a roller coaster. I call it a roller coaster experience, where you get on the ride and you're taken on your little ride, and there's no getting off or making a turn or anything. You have to get on their little ride and follow through because they want to accomplish something, which is how most conversational assistants act. They want to go for the purpose of the company. And if you're not into their ride, then goodbye. But if you are into our ride, then you're not part of the churn, and you'll make a purchase from us. We have an entirely different philosophy about conversational assistants, which is that in social impact, we want to provide a personal care. We want to provide information to people as best we can with what their information needs are. We don't have that kind of agenda.
Got it. That makes sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a question.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for your presentation. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you've kind of thought about bias in your responses, and what role you think your team has when it comes to I guess getting rid of bias, if one can?
Sure. So the best answer to that question is that we don't do unsupervised training. And for the AI, for people when AI learns from scratch or from dirt, like a 2-year-old is learning a vocabulary, there's opportunities for lots of input that's extraneous or kind of weird. We train from a specific list of information that's been given. Our bots are not open-ended. I like to call them a walled garden. So within that garden, you can travel around and see this or that. If you want to look at the tree, you can talk more about the tree. But there's only a limited set. And that set and bias is completely derivative from the entity that we're building the bot for. So that, in answer to your question, we're not giving the dialogue to the bot. We're not training it from scratch, and we're training it from the information that's given to us from our host.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have a little bit more time. Does Enrique, or do you have questions?
I have more to say. I definitely have more to say. Hey, Enrique, it's nice to see you again. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, nice to see you, Brian. Just one question regarding the business model and the business proposition that the project is having right now, and what we'll have in the future. Can you explain a little bit more? What do you have in mind for the future? So how do you planning to scale it? How do you
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think that needs to be tailored entirely to the customer. So when we're dealing with SMEs, they like to ingest smaller bites, and they just can't afford a large creation of some kind of integrated search function into their infrastructure. They don't have very big infrastructure. and so we have a cost for making an FAQ bot for them that's comprehensive for them. And that answers their basic questions that are public facing. When you approach an enterprise or an institution, then we want to wire that bot into your daily experiences of, can I turn on and off my lights with my bot? What kind of functionality can we get? In healthcare, the bots are sold as a locally deployed bot that ingests medical sensors and speaks only, as I say, this is a vertical bot, very specific skill sets. They only talk about what the doctor has indicated is important to talk about. So these open-ended GPT-3 bots that talk about anything and everything with bias that's not how we're looking at conversation. We're looking at it as a tool to accomplish a specific task for social impact. That's to get their mission out and get their conversation out where it might, not be easily obtained. And in other vertical solutions, it's very specific to the mission at hand.
Okay.
So let me say, in institution and enterprise deployment, it's a traditional. It's about 50% margins. There's larger margins with the SMEs at 99 euros a month for a chatbot. So I wanted to try, if that's what you're asking about, is there money in it? I don't know.
You discovered my hidden question. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Brian, again for your excellent presentation, also for your kind answers. And I'm so amazed that all the startups today were very much punctual and then finished their presentation on time. Thank you very much. And this is really, really relieved me. So thank you again, Brian.
Thank you
very much.
Thanks, Josh.
All right, thanks. Okay, let's move to the final page from Smart Helio. The CEO of Smart Helio, that's Govinda Upadhyay, is going to present his pitch. So Smart Helio is a doctor of solar PV energy systems. They use advanced analytics to diagnose the solar PV, the photovoltaic, the assess in near real time. Okay, so Govinda is your stage, and I think you're doing pitch together with your kid. Please go on.
Yes, thank you. Hi, I'm Govinda. I'm the CEO founder of Smart Helio. He's my son Gyan, and he decided to come for the pitch. So he'll entertain us if we get bored. We are based out of Switzerland. We are the doctor of solar plant, making solar panel greener using IoT and intelligent software. Just go, yeah. If you see from the top left, a coal plant emits around 300 grams CO2 per unit of electricity produced. A solar plant does 50 grams. That's why it's called green energy. But as the prices have gone down for solar panels, now a solar plant owner replaces a panel, even if just a little bit of performance goes down. As a result now, as the replacement happening, a solar plant can be just half good as coal plant, which is not good. According to PV Magazine, now solar plant e-waste will be 10% of the global e-waste by 2050, and which is a really bizarre thing. Again, from the top, our solution is that currently the identifying bad panels is a very cost-intensive task. And that's why 95% of the solar panels are ending up in landfill. We have built a cost-effective technology to identify faults in solar panels and prescribe steps to increase the life of solar panels. It is a patent pending technology. It's how it looks like. It's like a Fitbit for solar panels. How the science works, again, on the left-hand side, is a schematic of a solar plant. You put few of the sensors in the solar plant, not all the places. Then you start diagnostic and you start getting some reports. there are two differences where we are ahead of our competitor or how we do things better. Our algorithms are really physics-based, so you don't need a lot of data to train the AI. And AI is kind of used to actually make sure that the decisions are much faster. So that's why we don't need long-term data because of this method we have used. And on the left-hand side, on the sensor, these sensors are smarter sensor. They have edge computing. That is, like, they can run some algorithm on the sensor itself, and they can do even 80% of downsizing of the data. On a broadly, this advantage of these sensors are putting AI on the edge is that they can make real-time decision on the spot. We don't have to go to the cloud actually to get the decision making, which makes it much faster. How we do it, we actually plug our system to existing infrastructure. So it's just not something someone has to replace. So if you have a solar plant and you're already doing a monitoring with some certain technology, our system will just plug it through APIs and start giving diagnostic, prescription, predictive, and forecasting to the stakeholders. Our business model is very simple. So on the left-hand side, again, we have clients like SIG, BKW, or any solar plant owner who are the solar IPPs. They sell electricity to grid or the direct customer. We use a SaaS model. So because of our effort, they are able to increase the revenue by 10%. Two testimonial from our customer. The analysis of Smart Helo can provide insights into a solar plant previously not available at all, or if only with on-site inspection. Smart Helo detected faults in few days, which took us months to identify. It feels like magic. And these are the words which really makes us keep going. Here's our team. Myself, I'm Govinda. I'm also in Forbes 30 under 30 list. This is my second company. We have other founder, Naomi. She comes from a law background. We have other departments coming from operation, data, hardware, scientists, solar researchers, and data analysts. We are comparatively young team. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we have advisors coming from the industries, actually. I just want to proudly say that in our team, 50% are female and representing really data science and hardware researcher. That's we really take pride in. Our vision is to become the brain of clean energy. We start with solar, but can we provide such kind of a low-cost analytics with advanced decision making to other energy sources also? Thank you very much. Just Corona is not still over, so please wear your mask and get vaccinated. And with your support, let's make solar panel greener and healthier. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Govinda. Well done with your kid. And then, yeah, please stop your screen sharing. And then, yeah, Alika, you start your video first, so you can start your question first.
Govinda, thank you very much for the pitch, and congratulations for that amazing teamwork with your kid. It's awesome that you actually pitching with. It's a baby boy, a baby girl.
It's baby boy. On Tuesday, I stay with my son because you don't get time as an entrepreneur to spend time with family.
I find it amazing. It's super. I'm very happy that you can do this and have your baby with you. Congratulations for that. So on my question, in which stage are you at this point? I see that this is your second venture and this is having a very interesting potential, especially in emerging markets, and the solution looks interesting. So I wanted to know more in detail, where are you in the development and in the fundraising stages?
Right. So we already did the last year closing of around $500,000 in convertibles and around 1.5 million in grants. We are present in India, in Europe, some part in Africa also, and US now. This round will be 3 million. We are looking for which going to close in quarter. Yeah. It's okay. You can go now. Sorry. Yes. We're going to close 3 million for scale up actually. So right now things are really good because we are working with all the big solar companies in these continents now. They really appreciate our value. And now is the time really to scale up with our technology as fast as possible. Enrique, I was able to answer your question.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I think you answered the questions that I had, but I just wanted to salute you for presenting with your child. Thank you very much. I know it's hard to balance, family and life together. So salutes to you.
I can tell you, I'm training my kid to always come with the pitch because it's such an X factor that it's so amazing, right? But no, thank you. It is there, and I think being in home and being a home daddy right now, we have to really show that this is just part of our professional job now. Yeah,
exactly.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
A quick question, can you touch on competition and any other similar platforms that exist in some of the markets that you're operating in, if there are any?
Right. So most of the people, what they're doing is collecting the data and they're displaying on the graphs like a dashboard. So that's called monitoring companies. We are one of the first one who are able to actually diagnose on the real time. So looking at the graph, and we can just tell that, hey, your panel is suffering from XYZ disease, probability of having this will go aggressive in next few days, please do something. So we are one of the first one on that. However, what makes us super unique is our hardware thing, because right now people collect the data at the central point, like from inverters, which is like a bunch of collection of panels. With our hardware, you can actually go deeper and start getting those insights, which was just not at all available, or you're available only by looking at, like you can just go and check and then you see it. So I'll say that because of our hardware, we are really far ahead with our competitors. And with our diagnostic itself, we are ahead, but I think there are good players in the market who can do similar thing. I don't want to say respect to them because we all are contributing to the health of the solar panels. Yeah.
All right, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And also, yes, congratulations on your successful pitch. Even though you have to, take care of your kid and at the same time,
Thank you.
How hard is the life of entrepreneur? Taking care of your company, taking care of your child at the same time. That's a great job. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. So now we are done with all the 5 pitches. So Enrique and Melissa Sassi and Melissa Tickle, I just shared the another separate link for you guys to connect to finalize your decision. Maybe you guys need a little bit of discussion to finalize the who will be the really last winner. Right. So please connect there and then have a little bit of time. So in the meantime, I'm going to have a separate question and answer with the startup founders here. Okay, so the Melissa and Enrique, so to just make sure you mute on your microphone in Zoom and then connect to another chat link that I shared just before, or you guys can chat with the Zoom link to just finalize decision and just let me know your decision. Okay, so while we are waiting for our judges to make the final decision, I'd just like to just go around just one simple questions to all the founders of startup today. So what are the biggest challenges of being an entrepreneur in your area, where some entrepreneurs probably have the technological challenge with the biggest, or financial challenges, or even some kind of a human resource related risk and everything. So basically, Govinda, you turn on the video first. So I'm just very curious, what has been the biggest challenge in your entrepreneur's life?
I think like the biggest challenge is finding the talent right now. So I think market is there for us, at least I can speak about. Market is there, technology is pretty solid. We're getting tractions from really the big guys. The thing is that what we need is to scale is the real talent who can really help us to grow. We are already 20 people, but we want to become 30 with really good data scientists and embedded engineers. That's really hard because we can't pay them like the bigger companies. Even if we start doing, okay, let's give them stocks and all those things, that works, but not for everyone. So I think that has been for me now with the scale up, that is the biggest one, finding right talent who really feel for the cause. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. I also have met hundreds of entrepreneurs for the last 3 years, and then actually basically really fundamental sources of people, right? So I think that definitely I agree with you. What about you, Brian?
I gotta agree about the initial team building. That's been definitely a super big challenge, team building. But for me, it's been the prevailing culture of lean startup philosophy, which I don't really think goes with AI and deep tech. I don't think that the funding cycle of a retail widget store getting traction and showing an MVP and selling millions of units has anything to do with the developmental cycle of a deep tech solution. It just doesn't, in my humble opinion, especially when you're trying to tackle social impact issues. So that's been a challenge for me to attend to that prevailing culture and speak in their language, so that they think that I'm doing the things they like.
Yeah, you're right. And sometimes, the people are using completely different vocabulary, and then you have to understand what is the really hidden intention of those, the other stakeholders in this, startup ecosystem. Yeah,
agree.
And because tech people and finance people, and also they are always using the different languages, right? Yeah, I agree.
Agree.
Okay. Yeah, all of you also turn on your video, and then I just saw the news that you guys recently succeeded in the, get some fund, and then you are also seeking another round of funding, right? So, but is there any really challenges that you are facing as a really biggest one?
Well, we're not looking for another round just yet. We will be in the more distant future.
You finish it now, yeah.
Like every company is. For now, we're fine. The biggest challenge has, of course, been COVID. We're working for the hospitality industry, so you can imagine what that looks like right now. But let's steer clear of that a little bit. I would say also indeed relating to Jovinda on the staffing, it's super challenging. Although I do have to I do from a rewards package, we can't offer the same thing that the big corporations can. But for an intrinsic value, I do think we have a lot more to offer, all of us here in the room. So that is what I disagree upon, but that's not for everyone. That is also true. Now, I think the biggest challenge we're currently facing is collaborations, in particular with larger corporates, or at least larger organizations, because they just live such a different heartbeat, and they're better at a lot of stuff, of course, because that's why they're as big as they are. But the heartbeat of the amount of meetings and reconsiderations and going there and back and going over and over the same thing again and having everyone involved on a small decision, that is something that I get frustrated for. I've made peace with it. I come from a big organization, but for a while there in my earliest days of entrepreneurship, I was able to steer clear of that and really get into our own pace. And then the moment you grow bigger, there's more people and more organizations to take into account. And that's sometimes, if not often, challenging for not so much for the result, because in the end you get there, but for the energy that we have as a young and fast moving company.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. That's why these days, especially people call open innovation as very, very important for the big company and startups to collaborate together, because a lot of innovation these days are coming from the really lean startups. We are really, fast moving. So I think that's a big challenge, but also it should be turned into a big opportunity for startups to work with the big IT companies. All right. Okay. So basically our judges are back, but I just wanted to have a very quick also opinion from the Bernard and Hugo quickly about your opinions on what kind of challenge you are facing as entrepreneur, especially also, Bernard, you used to work in the UN and now you became an entrepreneur. So definitely
That's
different
quite different on
lifestyle,
the
right?
outside,
Yeah.
actually. It's just trying to figure out how to get a proper foothold. I think these days what we struggle mostly with is we're a deep tech in an emerging market. Investors don't find it a little hard to categorize us, especially for the fact that we're not working in some of the more popular investable opportunities like fintech, or working directly with smallholder farmers, or some different thing, or having like direct to consumer apps. So that's a bit hard for us, and also because developing our models do take time and resources. So that's a bit time consuming. Yeah, so you have to straddle that a whole lot. So I think that'll be the main thing that we struggle with. You're muted.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so Hugo, you're the last one. Quickly,
Okay,
please.
Well, yeah, I think that one of the most complicated things for us, it could be like, for example, in regions like mine, entrepreneurs don't thrive thanks to government, but in spite of them, because it's a very hostile environment to entrepreneurs. So we're very grateful with initiatives like this, and in pandemics, this becomes extremely important to connect, because regardless of having a lot of internet connections right now, I think one of the most difficult things in pandemics could be like making real and good connections. They required connections. You need to thrive, especially when you wanna go outside your region and start to look for another territory. So that's had been very challenging for us.
Right. Thank you very much for your answer. So yeah, this is why actually we are here. So we definitely are committed to helping startups to scale up, the business model and solutions through our collaboration with the different UN organizations and some of our partners as well. Thank you very much for all your contribution. It's definitely we are going to take into account all your comments, and we definitely are going to make our big effort to help you guys. Okay, so the result is now on. So who is going to announce perhaps? Well, I heard that Elike said, Melissa. Yeah, okay, yeah, so, yeah. Okay, it's your time to announce the result. Woo, I'm excited.
I didn't agree who was going to announce, but I figured I might as well just turn on my camera and go for it. Sometimes, but you know what I got to do? I got to get my spreadsheet open first. And I know this is when everyone's like, oh gosh. All right. So I think for me, it was really incredibly exciting to hear about the problems you're solving, the solutions you've created, how you've incorporated AI into your business, what you think the growth opportunities are, your team, maybe what inspired you to do the work that you do, and how well you've incorporated your audience into your team, how well you have empathized with your audience to really come up with a solution that is customer centric and really solves the challenges in front of you. So that's enough of my hopefully inspiring words, or at least kind of what I got out of this today. Do you want me to, Josh, just name the winner, or do you want me to do kind of like third, second, first? How would you like me to go in terms of order, or just like let it out and let it go?
Well, what we normally did is just announce the winner. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks. I do so many startup competitions and hackathons. Sometimes I forget about the rules that I'm supposed to follow. So thank you for keeping me in order. All right. So Hugo, congratulations. Pallav is the winner of the AI for Good Global Summit from today. Congratulations.
Oh, wow.
As someone who doesn't speak out loud about my own disability, I think it is always incredibly inspiring to think about how people are building solutions that incorporate your audience. And you've truly incorporated your audience, and I think solved many things that many of us are often, scared or shy to talk about, whether that's a mental disability or a physical disability, which both are just as real, and many of them are unseen. Many people will often look at me and think, well, you don't have a disability. I don't see anything that's present, with you. And it's just as real for me as it is for many others around us. So congratulations. I'm sure my other judges have some inspiring words to hopefully say, but congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very surprised. I don't know what to say. Thank you very much.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And it's an honor to share with such as brilliant entrepreneurs, judges, because the main goal here is to learn, just learn. And as much as we learn how to help people, I think the impact will be larger. And that's our dream. Our dream is a more inclusive world.
Thank you very much for your word as well, Hugo. All right. Okay, so before I'm making a really final announcement, we are opening now a very quick poll with just one question. So please answer and let us know how much you like this session. And then I think, yeah, the poll will just pop up on our screen. Okay, so thank you very much to all of you, and a big thanks to our finalists and juries, and as well as to all the participants today. And for the finalists today, well, we will keep in touch with you and have another closed session to hear more about your business plan in detail, and also try to find the best way to help you guys explore further business opportunities. We also have our portfolio, document that we distribute to some potential business partners, and then we have several options that we are preparing for you guys to use in order to expand your business network. So I'm going to send another calendar invite, so I'd like to hear more about it. And as we announced, the winner of this session will be invited to the grand final at the end of this year. And then the finalist for the grand final will have a chance to be officially invited to due diligence in the investment process, which will be provided by one of our VC partner based in Canada. All right, so we also encourage you guys to check out the AI for Good program online to see more sessions that may be of interest to you. And the next Innovation Factory session is to be held in next month. Okay, now we have a poll here. All right, so how likely are you to recommend this webinar to a friend or colleague from 10 to 1? And you guys know what is the best score there, okay? Right. So application open to all kinds of startup using AI to make social impact and help achieve the SDGs. So please stay tuned with us, and hope to see you guys again next time. So now it's time to really say goodbye, and then thank you very much again to everybody, and especially thank you to the finalists who prepared a great pitch, and also thank you very much to all our judges who superior really valuable time. So have a lovely day, or a lovely afternoon, or evening, or even sweet dreams, especially if you are in the nighttime. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks, all.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Rewind selector, rewind selector, rewind selector. Rewind selector, rewind selector, rewind selector.